We go to Benidorm next year.
We're walking the Pennine Way, 13 days heading north. Day 1 takes us from Edale over the gritstone edges and out towards Crowden, where we'll find our first wild camp. We left home early, heading south on the train.
There's 5 foot light. Top advice.
And away.
There we go. Now we've walked 0.2 of a mile and first jacket change of the trip. There's the old Nags Head, Hiker's Bar. Official start of the Pennine Way. And cross over the road and there's the first sign.
And away.
268 miles.
Well, a nice start. Nice to begin with. We did have a little bit of a hoo-ha before we came here on the train, in that the forecast for tomorrow looks pretty appalling. But what's one day? Let's see what it brings. For now, it's good to set off in dry weather with a bit of sunshine and some blue sky and good views.
Looking ahead, rolling hills. And we reach Jacob's Ladder.
Jacob's Ladder. These are the stone steps climbing up to Kinder Scout.
And up. Not quite at the top yet, we're not far. That's so much of Jacob's Ladder. Gritstone country.
How the temperature can change.
It's life of the Arctic.
Life of the Arctic. Well, it's really quite nice up here, isn't it? Kinder Scout. Across the edge to Kinder Downfall.
Breezy up here.
Onward.
I think that's probably Kinder Downfall.
And there's the downfall. Looks like a trickle today.
There's the way stretching north. So we've got all the waterproofs on. We had a shower, dry again now but blustery.
Hill.
Looking back to where we've come from, on the edges. Having crossed Blackstone Moor, there's the St Pass Road. Across the Bleaklow. Catch your bus up here if you want. Busy road.
So far, not so bad.
And we reached the summit. There we go. Bleaklow.
It's called Bleaklow.
Yeah, let's all look round. It's a bit of Blake.
Bleaklow. Heathcliff. It's me, Kathy. I've come home. So cold. Let me in at your window. I'll edit that out. Look at all this peat. Oh, that's just a big pile of peat. Right, it started raining. Put the camera away.
Nice little spot. Couple of miles from Torside now. First view of Torside Reservoir down in the distance.
That was quite hard work, wasn't it? That.
Yeah, the path was pretty rough, but we're on a reasonable track now, and a bit of a hike out down to Torside at the head of the reservoir. Let's cross the road again on the way to Crowden. Crowden.
Potatoes.
Here we go, Torside Reservoir. Across the dam wall.
Well, we're just near Crowden, and decision to make. There's a campsite here. It's not far away, about half a mile away from here. Or do we just continue on and get a wild camp? Forecast is for rain tomorrow, and it's dry now. So I think what we're going to do is just, we've found some water here. Dave's just collecting it. I'll show you in a minute. And I think we'll just carry on along the Pennine Way and just hope we find a pitch. So we now have water. Good-o. Looks like it's a wild camp tonight then.
Not taking the path to Crowden. We're heading across the fields just before the village. Look for a wild camp.
Get the tent up before it rains. This is our spot, isn't it? Just off the path.
Yeah, Pennine Way's just over there, going past those trees. Day one review.
Day one. Yeah, okay. A little bit rainy, but not too bad. Waterproof's on and off. Not terrible. So, dark peak. Where we started was beautiful, wasn't it? Lovely village, lovely weather to start with. And then Jacob's Ladder, Kinder Scout.
Yeah, that was all nice up there.
Yeah, the Kinder Downfall and all those edges. We walked all the way along the top of those edges, those gritstone edges.
Yeah, it was nice.
And then Bleaklow, which was alright. That was alright as well. And
Yeah, I enjoyed all the moors up there. It seemed remote, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the bleakness of it. And what do you think marks out of 10 for day one?
I'll give it 7.
Yeah, I think I'd give it maybe a bit more, 7.5.
Okay.
Maybe 8. I enjoyed it. No, maybe 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Day 2 takes us north from Crowden over the moors via Laddow Rocks to Black Hill. We cross the haunting Saddleworth Moor and the M62 motorway before the rain sets in. Our pitch is by Blackstone Edge Reservoir after sheltering in the very well placed White House for fish and chips. Let's go!
Morning on day 2.
Take the photo of the tent.
There we are, that's the view out this morning. Always leave no trace. And back onto the path and the way up to Black Hill this morning.
Well, it's dry so far. The forecast is not good for today, but once again, it's a better start than we could have hoped for. Quite a nice valley.
The ascent of Laddow Rocks. The views down the valley are said to be some of the finest in the Peat district. We were impressed.
At the moment, I'll take this. Nice view.
river. Beautiful morning. Slight breeze, but it's cleared the mist away. We're out of the valley and onto the open moorland, and we're back on slabs.
We're not quite sure whether we're going to get to the road first or Black Hill. I haven't looked at the map for a while. These slabs occasionally end up underwater, and we've taken more than one slight detour to get round them, but the detour is always a boggy one.
Black Hill.
Nice, isn't it?
White trig. No doubt. Not all enough water.
Should be.
And we see a road in the distance. It's quite bright at the moment. The sun just glinting through.
So I'll just carry on.
Yeah, you. So we've met. What's your name, sorry?
It's Martin Sharp, and I'm Pennine Way Ranger for the Peat District National Park.
Did a very
Thank you
good
very
job
much.
for us.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, and thanks for the advice.
We'll drop into the gully and then up onto the road.
I just wanna go out and walk with you.
There we go.
I just like to talk with you.
The main road. Westenden Lodge 2 miles. Black Hill back that way 1 3/4.
A detour to Marsden provides an opportunity to resupply if needed.
And we just headed on to Marsden Moor.
I just wanna see your
We'll be heading around that reservoir shortly.
Reservoir number 1.
But we continued towards the reservoirs, and at this point, still no sign of that forecasted bad weather.
I like to see the shape you're in from time to time. I just wanna see your shadow next to mine. I just wanna see the same things you can see.
Dam wall for one reservoir, and there's on to the next. Walking past a few reservoirs today. Water for the conurbations of this area. Sight of a lot of moor been on fire here.
Look at that view. Have a look at that.
We're reaching to the reservoir. And we head across the dam wall. Quite a strong wind up here, we should probably make out.
Day of the reservoirs. And it's very, very windy. A few more reservoirs to go yet. Heading for Standedge now.
I just wanna go out and walk with you.
What are we on here? Standedge, and the wind's picked up. You can barely stand. Crossing another main road.
Not the most salubrious lunch spot, but we're taking shelter
Very windy, isn't it?
It's very windy. First wall we've found and there isn't any more, so. Just gone across Standedge and Marsden Moor. Looking fairly bleak across this section again. Another road crossing in the historic county of York. There we go. Lancashire. 2:30 on day 2 and the rain's on. Well, we think we might be on White Hill now, but we'll check that and alter it if it's not. It is raining. I think this has seen better days. Fancy something in there, are you, Sue? Yeah, I think that's been better days. Across the M62.
Across Saddleworth Moor and over the M62 with the rain setting in, and I'll be honest, things were feeling a little grim.
Blackstone Edge in the rain. Another trig and across the moor. Sometimes you find a little bit of shelter just at the right time. We're at the White House, waiting for the pub to open. Why do we do it? What bloody hell you brought me here for? We go to Pennine Way next year.
Rampant area.
Blackstone Edge Reservoir. Pennine Way again. I'm just leaving the White House public house.
It was a bit of a slog for a while there, but after 2 very generous portions of fish and chips, we headed out once more to find a pitch.
Just left the pub and look at the high-rise buildings in the sunlight, glistening at the moment. We're heading along here, trying to find a camp. Just gone 6 o'clock. Didn't quite get the miles we thought we might today, but then the weather did conspire against us. We've taken about nearly 2 hours out to avoid biblical rain. Still looking for somewhere to pitch our tent tonight. It's a gritstone around, but the sun is shining, and that's okay. We'll find a campsite. And a inscription on the rocks, which is all about rain.
This is the Rainstone. The inscription is a poem by Simon Armitage celebrating the water cycle. The weather rolls in, the rain falls, and slowly works its way through the land. We'd felt a bit of that today.
Quite appropriate really, considering the last 2 or 3 hours of weather we've had here. Day 2 review.
Day 2, Crowden.
2 just beyond the White House public house.
Pub, yeah, at near Rochdale.
Yeah.
Mixed bag really that. It started off nice.
Did.
Over Black Hill, that was nice. That was perfectly okay.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Right.
the moor above that was lovely. Oh, and the reservoirs, to start off, the sun was shining. It was beautiful.
It was, I enjoyed them.
Really good, considering we thought it was going to chuck it down all day. However, The further we went along the moors, the bleaker it got, didn't it? And the weather started to turn.
The weather matched it.
Yeah, the weather was pretty
Saddleworth Moor was quite
awful.
Yeah, I didn't really enjoy Saddleworth Moor.
No.
And then we got down to the White House pub, which opens at 5:30 for reference, except on Sundays it's open all day. So we had to sit outside for an hour in the rain.
And boy, did it rain.
It rained in the
And
biblical
rained,
fashion.
and rained. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course there was the crossing of the motorway as well,
Oh, the M62,
which was
yeah.
really grim. It was
It's a bit
really
depressing
grim.
when you're crossing the
Not
motorway.
nice.
Yeah.
Because we were stayed in the pub for a bit, at least we got a dry spell to pitch the tent up.
Yeah.
But during the night, not a wink of sleep.
Well, we did get some. But
A little bit of sleep, but the tent.
blew and blew and blew. Didn't it? The tent was
Yeah.
just rattling and shaking all night. It was a bit
Yeah.
rough, so it's hard to sleep. Marks out of 10 for day 2.
Oh, it's a difficult one because it was a bit of a two-way split. The first part of the day I would even give maybe 7.5. The second half I would give a 5. So overall maybe a
6 out of 10.
6.
Yeah, I was thinking 6 out of 10 for day 2.
Well, that's it for day 2. Next time we leave Blackstone Reservoir and head on towards Ponden Reservoir, with a rather special stop along the way. Top Withens in Bronte country. I might be slightly excited about that one. So if you'd like to join us for a bit of Wuthering Heights magic, we'll see you next time.
Don't you think you get a bit carried away with all this stuff?
So until then, cheerio!